grabs the Arden. Could be a weapon power Samuel again.
This isn't a draft that is actually too dissimilar from the one that they ran last game. I would argue that Samuel can and quite frequently does exist in that weird range that Baron does too. Yep. Then you've got Scarf replacing that Celeste. I like the Arden much more than the Lance, but are they going to be able to deal with Sirius in the front line here of the Finn with huge damage on the back line? Plus, if it isn't weapon Samuel, two crystal.
Yeah, definitely. I think both teams have an incredibly strong draft, and Team SoloMid, we're going to see what direction Von C takes the Samuel is the biggest question for me.
Weapon?
Well, I think if he makes it work here, if he makes it...
Samuel? Weapon.
I'll just let you guys do this. The throw. Go for it. No, go for it. Do you remember who our casters are?
Yes, casters. We're going to throw over to Tasty Bacon and Forecourt Jester to take maybe what might be the last game of the day home for North America.
All right, well, thank you very much, Fuji. That was a pretty good throw, AJ. You may have to watch your back over there on the desk, but either way, we are going to be getting into this one. Gankstars going to look to secure themselves the victory and say, well, if they're going to take home split number 1, they need to get this win because Velocity did take at least one game in the third place match, but they still need Velocity to lose in order to take first, but they still need to win themselves to get that as well. So Destiny's not in their own hands, but they can at least do as much as they can to try and make it happen.
So yesterday we saw some surprising success, at least if you're in Bacon's shoes, with a weapon Samuel. And guess what? Bacon Von C is going to be bringing it to bear here once more. We'll have to see if it can have a repeat success. But with a Flash X on that Arden, definitely one of his power picks right there. And Chuck is going to be on this Scarf to back it up. That feels like it actually could have a really good solid chance here.
Well, like I said yesterday, it was definitely just a Von C thing. I mean, if your name isn't Von C, you really shouldn't be doing this. It did actually come through in Europe for one game. Kentusik actually ran it in their third place match, and it did not do well at all. So, again, if you are not named Von C, you should not be running a weapon-powered Samuel.
Name ain't status baked either, then don't run the Crystal Taka. So those are the few of the lessons I've taken this weekend, as Wrecked is looking for that transition on top of Bet's. Chuck does get some damage done. Chuck's just going to motor on back under the turret with the boots, but off into the jungle. Von C bringing that weapon power to bear. Status baked, not really too sure what he can do here, and that's going to be first blood.
Yeah, the ability to chase with this Samuel is just very, very strong. Ooh. Has a lot of mobility, and well, Von C, I still don't understand. I mean, I've seen it work once, and he's doing pretty well with it to start things off here, and I still just don't understand how he's actually able to do this, but somehow, some way, he is finding this pressure, and they very nearly get a kill onto Wrecked as well, but now Flash is going to be in some serious trouble, but will be able to get out of there.
Now, they don't actually see Wrecked. Instead, they're going to tunnel on top of Status, who did split from the herd. And you can pick off the stragglers. There goes Wrecked as well under the turret. Von C, no problem, takes the shot. Flash had already come down low by going under those turrets. And TSM, well, they're back, baby. 3-0. Going to be pushing up this lane as much as they can. Von C just living his hermit life in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, Von C, it doesn't make any sense what he's able to do with this pick, but it somehow manages to work for him. I'll have to ask him about it next time we see him at Worlds, because TSM is automatically qualified for Worlds. So at least we'll have the chance to ask him about it. I don't even know what kind of answer he might have for it, but I'll at least give him a couple months heads up to think of something. But either way, they are going to be off to a nice start here for the side of Team SoloMid.
Core Collapse a little bit off the mark, but Flash X are going to be coming in with the Vanguard anyways, and just trying to keep Old School down. Perhaps it will work this time. We'd had a lot of pressure trying to keep Old School from snowballing, but that also entailed not putting pressure there in the jungle. That's what Von C is doing, and he's doing it well. He's once more just living it out here. Kestrel's down. Old School actually very much in danger of dropping, but we don't have another Spitfire loaded, and now just going to get some damage on top of Wrecked. Yeah,
it's some good damage being traded over. We'll see if the side of Gankstars can be the ones to figure out what to do with this weapon power, against this weapon power Samuel, I should say. But this is definitely a very strange pick, very unconventional build, and who knows if they're going to be able to figure out that answer.
All right, so 4-0 Status Bank, just going to kind of be waiting around. He's looking for that invade, but he's not going to quite find it yet. Vainglory has his own side to clear out, as they have been accruing a little bit of interest. So Best Chuck doing well with 49 farm. Old School is going to be keeping up. He hasn't actually died yet, but Old School has definitely been rebuffed quite a few times. And now he's going to get caught out here just a little bit. Vainglory can't quite seal the deal, but again, Old School is just going to go right back under his turret.
Yeah, right back under the turret indeed, trying to get to the safety, but with these two teams, the turret may not even be safe. Rex trying to get on the other side of the turret will actually be able to put the turret between him and TSM, and they do get the kill on Vainglory as a result.
Rex and the Fountain saving his life, bringing down the terror that is Vainglory with the help of the turret. Old School actually to pick up the credit. Nice bait, I want to say. Gankstars kind of out of those buttons for now. It could be a little bit of a window when Vainglory comes back, but they have gotten at least their own kill, and the gold will remain under 1,000 between the teams.
Yeah, I mean, the gold staying relatively close. Old School and Rex gonna be looking to get some pressure onto Best Chuck. The scary thing about this is late game, this composition from TSM is going to be devastating. There's a lot of damage that's going to be coming out of both Vainglory and Best Chuck. So Gankstars, they really need to try and make something happen earlier rather than later in order to actually have a chance in this game.
Vainglory, as aforementioned, his weapon build is going to be the breaking point, likely into the double monocles. That's what we have been seeing. We'll have to see what he can do with the breaking point for now, but that gauntlet actually just keeping these guys to bear. Vainglory is down still so low. The Fountain has done some work, and now Status Baked just couldn't find the arrows on top of Vainglory. Old School's going to be running for it, and he does have the boots. Might still survive. Vainglory, no fear though. Core Collapse does get dodged out, but these Verdict and Malices just not hitting. Vainglory can't find the targets. It's not going to be quite the ace, but it will be 2 more kills over to TSM.
Yeah, a couple more kills means a couple more opportunities to get some extra gold. They're going to go ahead and get right onto this gold miner, take that for themselves, and this gold lead is going to actually finally be something that's somewhat significant at a little over 1,000 gold in favor of TSM.
Best Chuck has had that broken myth for a good bit. Old School did pick up his fairly early here as well. It does have a reflex to go with it on top of that. Our 2 roamers with the Fountain. Status Baked is still kind of struggling at this point. For the gold, he should have it here fairly soon. For the Sorrow Blade, though. And that leaves us with Vainglory, as I said, with a breaking point and likely into those monocles. We'll just have to see how quickly he can get there.
Yeah, that's going to be a very important factor. Getting those monocles finished for Vainglory. He's at 4-1-2 right now in terms of the KDA. 47 farms, so slightly above Status Baked in that regard. So again, this weapon power Samuel, somehow Vainglory makes it work.
Just call him really good at the game, Bacon.
Well, I mean, we've known that for a while, and I think this going for these unconventional builds really just kind of emphasizes that. The fact that he's able to do so well with it, just like I said, it completely blows my mind. I don't understand how he does get pulled in there, though, and now it's going to actually be some good damage being dished out by Gankstars.
Yeah, but some good movement will keep Vainglory going. The Drifting Dark, Rex does not care for it. He's going to quibble down, but nobody really following him. The Oblivion will be resisted. Best Chuck and Old School just kind of go a mono, but Flash has kind of gone the long way around for the retreat. He is still here if they try to jump Vainglory once more. I don't think they actually know that Arden is there. They only know that Vainglory is kind of sitting there. But now Flash can't actually go over the wall for the Vanguard. He is now in range, but here comes Best Chuck as well. Could the bait actually result in a kill? It's going to be Rex with the Fountain just trying to keep these guys going. Who actually baited who? But so far, no kills. Rex is coming down low. Flash X now on the retreat. Here comes the Dragon's Breath, but majority of it not really connecting. Status Baked is looking to get that exit going. But Vainglory, he's now in a good position. Wrecked finally will drop the one shot. And those glimmers all not really connecting. Best Chuck's going to live. Old School, probably not. And Vainglory is going to get the kill.
Yeah, Status Baked recalling back to base, making sure an ace doesn't go through. It felt like after they initially went in, it looked like Gankstars were very uncertain about that fight and actually wanted to try and back out of it, but just didn't have the opportunity. And TSM fully capitalizing on that sort of split decision there and picking up a couple more kills. They're going to get that turret for their troubles, and it's starting to look like we may have a Game 3. Obviously, the game's far from over just yet, but I really feel like the later this game goes, the more it continues to favor TSM.
2 items there on Vainglory. First monocle in the bag. Best Chuck picks up that Eve as well. Got that Crucible in the fountain from FlashX, so everybody's sitting very nice and comfy on 2 items, but can't say the same for School, not yet. Status Bake still struggling as well. Looks like he's going to go a bit more defensive, and Wrecked with the triple shield coming out there as well after the fountain. I think we've seen this before, Bacon.
Yeah, they absolutely have seen this before, but now there's going to be a potential fight. Wreck can eat a lot of damage. A nice gauntlet will actually split away Gankstars from getting into this one, but a nice force to court. Best Chuck is so low, but somehow still alive.
Yeah, FlashX actually gets hit by the one shot. They were looking for the Scarf. Doesn't actually happen. Wrecked is now out. There goes the Kestrel. As soon as that front line evaporates, it all kind of collapses here for Gankstars. We did kill Vainglory, though, so he's not going to get into a nightmare status. And Old School still really trying to poke around here. He is level 9, has full range there on the Helios, but, I mean, between the 2 of them, I'm not too sure he can actually grab the kill.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty difficult, but it looks like Old School is going to get out of there. So no kill coming through just yet. And it's instead going to actually need to be careful there, Old School. Taking down now with that burn, but will be able to stay alive. I'm kind of surprised Best Chuck didn't stick around to try and throw another Spitfire at him, but Old School will finally be recalling back to base. We got the 2 item spikes coming out from both laners, and Vainglory, the lead he has 2 items in his inventory as those completed tier 3. Status Bake still just sitting on the Sorrow Blade, hasn't been able to get anywhere near the level of gold that Vainglory has.
And if you look at the gold lead, it's about 2,500 or so. Goldmine is ready and just bursting. He wants to give 300 gold per player to somebody here, and we got 2.5 minutes to figure out if that's actually going to happen. But 10 kills in 12.5 minutes, Bacon. It's been a pretty bloodthirsty pace, as TSM has just really turned this game to their favor. I mean, as he said, could be a Game 3 at this point. Gankstars going to be trying to pull them in, looking for a win here. Vainglory's off by himself. FlashX did get grouped up with Best Chuck instead. Had that fountain going through. Vainglory's going to come back. The one shot from afar will actually tickle the dragon, but now Flash, could he be the one to go down? Stunned up and nowhere to go. He is going to drop.
Yeah, Vainglory not really being involved in that one. He is going to rotate on up into the lane now, see if he can't find himself an opening, but just going to be a little bit of poke. And Gankstars, the long, slow process of climbing back into this game, it starts with getting picks like that.
And the gold mine to go over could actually go a long way to evening up the gold count. Just about 1,000 to separate these 2 teams. Bacon. Vainglory will get some farm, but if he goes forward, I don't see him winning.
Yeah, it's, I mean, on his own, absolutely not, but if you get the rest of the team in there, you never know. The damage coming out of the Samuel with that, the Breaking Point Tyrant's monocle, now very well on his way towards finishing that second one. He's just going to have about 1,000 gold necessary until he will have that, and that's when this build just gets even more terrifying.
Status Baked and Vainglory going to be popping those infusions. Vainglory's been actually ticking here for a while. Is 12. Status Baked is actually still 11. 14 minutes in. Not exactly where we want that jungle carry to be, but he's not that far from it. And there's the rest of the infusions coming up from Gankstars here as well. And we don't have one in the inventory of Chuck. In fact, Chuck's 200 short at this point.
And I mean, it's going to leave him a little bit short, but they're still going to be looking for a fight.
Yep, Quibble stun there on top of Chuck. The Force to Court not actually going to be bringing anybody, but Vainglory does trade out. It's going to be the Celeste for the Samuel. Status Baked is on the goop, and even through that active camo, Flash X somehow still getting that blood for blood off. Rekt is going to get home. The Spitfire a bit too late. TSM, however, do still hold advantage.
Yeah, they are going to be able to take, most likely, this turret off of this, as Rekt doesn't really want to get too involved in trying to defend that. So even though it was an early trade, Vainglory for Old School, they're still not able to find the rest of the fight. Best Chuck and A, once he gets rolling, once he gets those broken mid stacks up, again, his damage output is just insane. Status Baked wasn't able to deal with it. He's going to need a little bit more shield if he wants to go toe-to-toe with that Scarf, but you also need the armor if you want to go toe-to-toe with Vainglory, so a little bit of a catch-22 here for the side of Gankstars.
It's a little bit of a bad note, though, if you go into this. That was 3 infusions against 1. I'm not even sure that Vainglory actually had his up by the time the fight had happened. It had been ticking for so long. And even with that little extra boost, they were only able to trade 1 for 2. So they still got to have some pretty good positioning here. They still got to make sure that their cooldowns all hit. I mean, Rekt in the Force to Court, it was pretty easily blocked by the Crucible, for example. And Rekt kind of just left his backline. That's where Vainglory was able to start wrecking. And, you know, Rekt himself just didn't seem to be as useful that fight.
Yeah, definitely not quite as useful, but it's still enough to at least keep the fight somewhat close. Even though TSM got the advantage off that, they are going to be looking for another fight here. Gankstars, they're going to get hit by this Oblivion. It gets blocked, but can they find this fight? Actually, Vainglory is down. Yeah,
Vainglory actually taking a few too many glimmers. Status Baked doing a good job there. The Gauntlet and the Oblivion, as he said, not really going to turn the tide of battle there. So, you know, Flash just a little bit too focused on getting that Gauntlet down. There wasn't enough peel there for Vainglory. Didn't even use Fountain, if you look at Flash in that inventory. Just not enough. After you start that jump, there's not really any way to cancel it. So that's a little bit of a misstep from TSM. They actually might pay for it with a Kraken. You can see Old School just trying to keep Best Chuck busy, but as long as Chuck's up there invisible, there's nothing to worry about here from Gankstars.
Yeah, Chuck is in the lane, so he's not going to be coming down to try and steal his Kraken away. I mean, they have to assume it's going over, but Chuck, they know that they need him alive for this defense of the Kraken. Plus, they have all of their turrets still up, so giving over the Kraken, not the worst situation in the world here for TSM. They do still have a little bit of a lead, but that gold lead has drastically diminished over the last couple minutes. Vainglory, despite now having the double monocle, hasn't been able to really get the fights he's looking for. A nice block there, otherwise that would have been devastating for TSM, but they're still able to get some pretty solid damage down. That's the one downside of this build, not a whole lot of defense in it. First turret is down, and we'll see what Gankstars are able to do with this push.
And they do got that Scarf there for the defense, and that's actually really good at burning down this Kraken. We did actually have Oblivion blocked out, no problem. The Gauntlet lasting a long time, it seems, but TSM are very likely still to give up this turret. The Kraken just doing too much. Might even give up Flash here at this point, but do we have that anchor? It is up and ready to go, and it has found Vainglory. No block for it this time. 3 points. Brings it down to about a 30-second cooldown, and, well, the Kraken is done, turrets are done, Vainglory is dead again, and this is leaving the fold right up to Gankstars.
Yeah, the Gankstars definitely able to find some strides here now that we're getting later into the game, which is a bit surprising. Rekt once more just stacking defense as he has the triple shield. Rekt really does just kind of pick one target and just say, I'm just not going to take damage from this target, and just builds all out on defense in making sure they can't be the one that takes him down. It is Best Chuck this time around. He's okay with taking the damage from Vainglory. I think largely because Vainglory is doing a really good job of getting around Rekt, so Rekt isn't even really taking much damage from Vainglory to begin with.
Well, it's the same situation as yesterday, where Rekt did this against Ataka. Might have been a weapon Taka, but Rekt doesn't care. He's still going to get some passive armor, but much more valuable to be going, itemizing against, the crystal, the one that is actually, where he needs to be tanking the damage. All he has to do is sit in front of every single Spitfire and just keep all those Verdict and Malices at bay, and, he's going to just win out for the whole team. So, yeah, look forward to a lot of Aegises to get picked up here in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be already, like you said, one of them in the inventory for Rekt, and very likely a few more to come, as I mean, Gankstars, they have the opportunity to get this victory and take home first place in the week, potentially in the split. I'll see if we can get an update on that third place game and that is tied 1-1 as well. So big implications there, big implications here. Gankstars, they're looking to complete the comeback in game number 2 to try and take the series 2-0.
If Velocity doesn't win, Gankstars actually still could take that first place, if I got that right, Bacon. But we'll come back to it. It's Flash X. No time for rest here. It's all about this gauntlet, trying to get the damage on top of Old School. Oblivion, nope, it's going to get blocked, at least on Old School. Status Baked is catching some Z's. Wrecked will get the fountain off before he goes down. And now Vonsi is on the hunt. He's looking for Old School, and so far he's winning that duel. Even with the Spitfire coming through, it will be TSM to clean it up. Vonsi nearly died in the process, but nearly's not good enough this late into it. Now TSM got some momentum under them.
Yeah, finding another fight. It's been a while since TSM was able to get the advantage in a team fight, but they get this one. They're able to now clear out the jungle a bit, maybe even start up this Kraken, but it may be risky with Vonsi being this low. He's going to be able to heal up quite a bit, though, because of that heroic perk as they get the attacks in on the Kraken. They do have to worry about that one shot, one kill, but there's no vision from Gankstars to possibly steal this one out. But Status Big, well, he's going to provide his own vision. However, no real opportunity to get in there for that steal, so he's just going to back away and make sure that he can get as much gold as possible before this Kraken defense.
Now we will actually have to refresh at least some of these infusions. Status Baked likely just to go right back home and do it. There's Old School picking up his as well. Best Chuck is going to go for offensive items, Bacon. Not really a lot of defense throughout TSM in general, but he only has that Aegis. Just picked up a Clockwork. So if you thought that those Spitfires hurt, well, we're going to hit just a little bit harder, and if we can burn down Wrecked, that front wall of Gankstars is going to absolutely evaporate. We'll have to see if it pans out for them as they march down with the Kraken.
Yeah, they are going to be looking to end this one. I do have an update before this fight starts off. Velocity did win the third place match, which does mean Velocity actually guarantees themselves first place on the split. So this game essentially is just bragging rights at this point.
Yay, bragging rights, and congratulations, Velocity. But for now, it's Gauntlet going through. Will TSM clean this one up? Oblivion for Old School. He's going to fall asleep, but immediately just gets activated back. Vonsi not going to take full advantage of that one. The Solar Snipe to go through. Vonsi down low, but turrets are starting to drop. The Kraken, courtesy of TSM, going to tank out the one-shot, and Old School just going to be, waving around that broom and sweeping TSM out of the base. But it's coming down pretty close here, Bacon. 1 turret left versus 3. TSM have a bit more of a buffer, but at this point, a Kraken could actually win the game either way.
Yeah, Kraken going to be extremely important. We're getting pretty late into this one, so those death timers are going to be, pretty hefty if they do fall. So it's a lot. I mean, well, not really a lot on the line anymore, unfortunately. For Gankstars, their opportunity of taking first place on the split has been denied by Velocity securing it. But again, they still, it's playing for pride, and we've already seen these teams, pride means quite a bit to them. So they do still want to get the victory if at all possible. Plus, obviously, Gankstars, they don't know that first place is not a possibility. So they're still looking to close this one out, thinking that they have a shot.
I was curious to see if TSM was just going to make a break for it. Gankstars definitely not going to take the chance. They're already back in town. Now, Status Bakes, he's looking for another offensive item. Wrecked has actually diversified a bit. He's gone into some more armor. And, well, he's going to throw out those shields. Where's the Force to Court? Brings everybody into the core collapse there as well. Chuck will not be part of this fight, and Vonsi is not looking so healthy either. He is going to fall. Flash with another stun says impressive work here by Gankstars, but they are so far on the other side of the fold here, Bacon. Realistically, do they have a shot of ending it right now?
Yeah, they absolutely could. There's over 30 seconds on the death timers. They are very likely going to respawn because of the death timer reduction whenever you get a turret taken down, but Gankstars, they are looking to rush this one down. They want to end this series here and now, and they're going to have to split the damage on these final two turrets if they want to actually go for this. Otherwise, they may have to back off, but they are splitting the damage. They're going to take both these turrets down at the same time, which will prevent those death timers from being too much to deal with. Everyone is up, but they are on the crystal.
Yeah, Gankstars is going to be bringing it down, and it's way too much for TSM to handle. This will be the Gankstars win. Really, congratulations to them as well. You know, Velocity playing their hearts out. They've had some fantastic games this weekend, Bacon. This also puts Weapon Samuel 50-50 for NA.
Yeah, not having as... The early game looked like it was going to be a repeat performance on the Weapon Samuel. Vainglory was just tearing it up early on, but was not able to close it out. And Gankstars, a little bit of a bittersweet victory. They're going to be happy that they won, but as soon as